puff, puff, that's what daddy needs. Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dudeist Journey. I'm your host, Reverend Philip. Excuse me. And I'll be taking you along on this fun Dudeist journey ride as we glide along here and try to learn things to help us stay in the mode and mindset of the dude. Because when you're in the mindset of the dude abides. Now, just to start off, I like to tell people that Dudeism is more of a philosophy than a religion. It's considered modern-day Taoism, which is the art of peace. As there is an art of war, so there is an art of peace. And that's what we try to practice here with the old dude. It's funny, every time I talk to people about Dudeism, they just look at me like, what? What the fuck? Like, seriously? Like, this is real? Yep, real religion. Tax-exempt status and everything. By listening to this podcast, you are technically listening to an online ministry that is recognized by the IRS and the government. We official. Yep. Slowest growing religion in the world. Pretty proud of that. So I know, man, where have I been? I know. I've been gone. Shit's been crazy. So let me kind of roll back and let you know what's been happening here. So, all right, so one thing that I did is I started shooting this YouTube show called Diabolically Challenged with some buddies of mine. It's on right now. Like I said, it's on YouTube. You can watch the first episode. But we shot 2 episodes in July, and we started editing, and we're doing special effects. Now, obviously everyone working on the show, we're all doing it for free. Everyone's got like a full-time job and shit, and so they're like, we've got other fucking thing we got more important shit we got to take care of first. Which is cool. That's all good. But you see, the church actually funded the show. So it's technically a church-funded project here. Production. I mean, if Christians can go around making shitty movies, at least we can make something fun, right? So I've been doing that, and then I was doing the stand-up workshop at the Dallas Comedy Club, and we did our showcase. Now, that was like a whole different crazy fucking experience in itself. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast, I did this comedy workshop with this guy, Dean Lewis. He's a local comic here in Dallas. And I did the show in the showcase. It was at this place called TK's. Now, TK's isn't known as a comedy club. It's known as a restaurant and speakeasy. So, yeah. Comedy Club kind of came second. I had some issues, but, it was all just dumb, petty shit, Because my problem is I keep getting lost in my head, man. And then this is why we're talking about this particular topic today. But, yeah, so I did the show with Dean, and, I had to do clean comedy. And here's the thing. I can do clean comedy, but when you tell me to do clean comedy, I fuck up. Like, I just get nervous, and because, I cuss, all right? My dad was a fucking truck driver. We cuss all the fucking time. That's just me. I ain't, trying to, like, offend anyone. It's just this is how we fucking talk, man. It's pass the fucking peas. How you fucking doing? Happy fucking birthday. Merry fucking Christmas. It's just how we fucking talk. But I do like to talk about, like, some dirty stuff, but nothing, I never go into anything dirty. I actually try to make things funny, like, so when I started this workshop at the Dallas Comedy Club, I wanted to do, like, the level 2, because I'm like, I've already been through one, but they're like, no, you've got to go through level 1 before level 2, and blah, 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 because they have a whole fucking process or whatever. Fine. They don't want anyone jumping the line, so to speak. So I signed up for the level 1, and I go to that and stop by this gal, Emily Greffer, and excuse me. She's really cool, and she was like, hey, look, in the class, I'm not going to censor you. You don't have to do clean comedy. You can do whatever kind of comedy you want. If you get, too cross the line, we'll let you know. And I was like, thank fucking God. Finally. So every day at class, we pitch jokes. So I pitch my, 5 minutes and shit. Because that's the one thing I like about doing the workshops. It's like going to an open mic, only you are guaranteed to get on stage, and not only will people see you and hear you, but they will actually give you feedback and help you write jokes, I love that shit. I mean, not so much worth the price, but it's like, that's what's cool. Now, one of the things I also liked about this class was that she encouraged us to go to an open mic like every fucking week. You know, it's an 8-week course, and then we do a showcase. She goes, but I want you guys going to open mics to work your material and kind of, you know, work out the bugs and stuff and get over the stage fright and things like that. And I was like, you know, good fucking advice. Now, I kept trying to get on the list for the Dallas Comedy Club open mic, which is Wednesday nights. You got to sign up on Thursday online, and then it's a lottery, and hopefully they pick your name. But they don't always pick your name. Like, they only typically, because so many people sign up, they're typically putting the folks that are kind of like regulars and people who've worked at the club and been openers and shit. So I've been signed up. I wasn't getting on. Finally, Emily was able to put my name on it, and I was like, all right, cool. So before we do the showcase, I get to go do the open mic. Now, God. The open mics. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, open mics aren't typically shows for an audience. They're shows for comedians. This is where comedians go to work out material. They go to the open mic because comedians are going to be your toughest crowd. So if you can get comics to laugh, yeah, you can get an audience to laugh. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, you know, I'm watching other comics, and, you know, hit and miss, you know, but it's all good. Everyone's up there is talented. They got some good stuff. And then, but while we're doing this, there's these people at this table. It's 2 couples, and one of the couples was fucking drunk, okay? They were being loud-ass cocksucking bitches, like fucking assholes. I was so pissed at these fuckers. I was like, and people were telling him, like, you know, and this guy's like blowing his vape in the air, and they're just being fucking loud. And so one comic addressed it, another comic addressed it, a third comic who was 6 months pregnant, she fucking addressed it and cussed him out. And then finally, the goddamn staff pulled him out of the fucking room. I mean, everyone was telling him to shut the fuck up. The whole crowd was telling him to shut the fuck up. But these fuckers were not shutting the fuck up. They were just drunk and dumb. Wanted all the attention. I'm sorry your mom didn't fucking hug you enough. So I'm like near the bottom of the list. So by the time I get on there, it's me and the other comics from class, because they got on the list too. Not all of them came, but it was all cool. So, and one left early. He didn't perform. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, there's this one guy in the class, Amal, and I never saw his act. I never saw his comedy. But he went out and told jokes and got laughs, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. So I was like, did this guy just pull fucking magic out of his ass? What happened here? But anyway, so I'm waiting, and this whole thing starts at like 7:30. By the time I get on stage, it's 11 p.m., okay? And this is something else about open mics. When comics do their bit, they'll do their bit, and then they'll fucking leave. And then any of the friends or people that came, they leave too. So by the time I went up on stage, it was me and like the 4 or 5 other comics from the class that haven't gone up yet, right? It was just us. And I'm like, these guys have heard my fucking jokes. And there's just, you know, a few folks in the back, the guy running the lights, and there was this one dude in the center. He was front center stage at a fucking table, and this guy was awesome. He was laughing at every joke and taking pictures and shit and cheering everybody on. I was like, man, put this fucker in every show. Like, give him free unlimited tickets forever, because he's fucking awesome. I love this guy. So by the time I go up there, I decide I'm not going to do my normal act. I get up there and I just decide to tell one of my goofy, crazy stories. But the problem is I'm nervous, so I just run through it. I have this problem. I talk too fucking fast. I've always had this fucking problem with being on stage. I talk too fast. I got to slow the fuck down. Got to take a beat and talk a little slower so people understand what I am saying. I mean, I don't have to over-exaggerate, but I've got to, I got to fucking get in there. So, I get up, I tell my fucking story, I get my fucking laughs, and I literally do it in like 4 minutes, right? And then I get off stage, because I said it so fast. But afterwards, one of the comics that was there that performed earlier, she pulled me aside and says, hey, you're really good. You should, slow it down and shit, but you could milk that for a lot more laughs. You could do a lot more with that, but you could be a good comic. Keep working at it, okay? But slow down. And I was like, wow, that was really sweet of her. Of all the other people in the class, she pulled my ass aside. So, nice little kick in the pants there. I love that. But I'm practicing, and I realize my act is more like, when I slow it down, it's not 6 minutes, it's more like 10. So I cut out a bunch of jokes. I cut it down to 5. I talked to Emily, and I was like, hey, do you think I could do 10 minutes? Because a couple people in class are not performing. So could I do 10? Could I stretch it and do the whole 10? She's like, no, it's 5. I'll give you 6 at most. Okay? So I'm like, all right. Now, Emily, she's like, I'm going to be the last comic to perform. You guys are going to do, your stuff and all that good things. And then I'm going to come out and I'll do 10 minutes and we'll close it. And she got an MC and everything, which was good. So night of the fucking show, I'm fucking nervous and shit. And everyone in class was surprised. They were like, you seem the most confident on stage. I'm surprised you're nervous. And I'm like, I'm nervous before every performance. When I did theater all the time, I did theater for decades, I was always nervous before I went on stage. But the moment I got on stage and started doing my lines and hitting my marks, I was fine. It's just that nerve before you get on, Like, I hadn't eaten anything. I was like freaking out. I'm like, didn't drink too much, got my one, Crown and Coke from the fucking bar, because in my act, I open with a joke about drinking. And so I have to have a drink. Plus, in case you haven't heard me say, when you work in stand-up comedy, you basically work in the liquor business, okay? You have to sell drinks. You have to make people feel good, so they sell drinks, so they buy shit, and people will come back, It's every fucking comedy club has this 2-item minimum that you have to buy when you go to the show. Every fucking club. Every act I've seen. I just saw fucking Marlon Wayans at the fucking Improv. I had to buy 2 fucking items. And what sucks is that, like, oh, I'll buy some food. But the food at comedy clubs is like shit. I mean, it like 80 to 90% of the time, the food at the club is fucking cheap and fucking terrible, okay? Sorry, Dallas Comedy Club, you do not have a 5-star restaurant there. TK's has a 5-star restaurant because that's it. That's their focus. The Comedy Club is not. The Comedy Club comes second. They had extra space. They were like, turn it into a club. We'll see if we can get some people in here. It makes total fucking sense. It makes sense. But yeah, so that's I little nervous, but I went out, did my set, got it recorded, and was like, and I got laughs. So I was like, all right, we're good. We got some big laughs. After we did the showcase and everything, and we're, talking to the other folks from, all the other comics and, having a smoke outside, one of them, Mike, was like, dude, I thought you were a professional. And I was like, what? He says, yeah. He's like, I mean, every week your jokes were hitting. You were getting laughs. And I saw you on stage and stuff, and I was just like, I thought you were already a professional comedian. And I was like, wow, thanks. I really appreciate it. That was very nice to say. I mean, I have a background in live performance, so I do have some confidence there, but I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, this is what everyone's been telling me, from Dean Lewis to Ryan McComb to fucking Brian Paulson. They were just like, get out there and go fucking do it. Be the best decision you made. Go be a comic. So it's what I'm trying. And I go as Reverend Phil. That's how I'm introduced. That's my my name there, Reverend Philip. And I talk about Dudeism there, make some jokes about Dudeism and stuff, and try to open folks up, to it. Because here's the thing, usually, you're kind of told as a comic not to joke about religion or politics unless you're making fun of your own. So I'm like, I can do that. I made fun of Christianity too, but I mean, it was like over the top kind of stuff. And the usual people I usually go for are these like fucking what are they called? The money preachers, the prosperity preachers, whatever the fuck they're called. I call them greedy whores. They're greedy whores. That's what they are. And then they want you to send their money, your seed money, or whatever the fuck it is, or whatever bullshit, to try so they can go buy another fucking Ferrari. I fucking hate that shit, so I always talk against it. Because in Dudeism, we don't ask for your money. We tell you to keep your money. If you listen to this podcast and subscribe, maybe share some with your friends, that's what'll help me make money. I don't make money on the podcast right now. I am actually paying to do the podcast. I was getting paid with Anchor.fm, but when Spotify bought them out, it all fucked up. And so I went to Podbean, which still works with Spotify, but I'm just like, I'm trying to get away from Spotify. So I was willing to give up a free podcast hosting account with Spotify and instead pay one at Podbean because I hate fucking Spotify so goddamn much. Because you have to understand, they fucked me out of my money. It was $4.18. They wouldn't fucking give it to me until I made $10, but I couldn't make $10 unless I had 1,000 subscribers, which there was no way I was going to do. And meanwhile, while I'm arguing with them for my $4.18, they give Joe Rogan fucking $10 million. I was like, fuck you assholes, man. And everyone I know, it's like Spotify sucks, Spotify is shit, Spotify's fucking the artists. So yeah, death to Spotify. So I'm glad I have some folks on my side seen what I saw with Spotify early on. I was like, these fucking assholes are just gonna steal everybody's shit. Take all the money and say fuck you. So yeah, I mean, even Weird Al went on and joked about how bad Spotify. I'm not gonna go on that route. I'm not gonna think about that. Now, what's going on in my love life? Well, nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. Always getting put in that friend zone. I'm going to be called Friend Zone Phil from now on. But I get it's hard to get a date, when you're 45 and you look like me, I look like the uncle that takes long walks before Thanksgiving dinner. I do. And if you're wondering, yes, I have drugs on me. So it's just, it's like, I get it. I'm not what the ladies are looking for. That's cool, man. I gotta work on me, man. I gotta figure out what's going on. I grew my beard out, right? Now, I usually tell people I grow the beard in the winter to, help my face. But the fact is, I grow my beard out when I'm fucking depressed. And I'm really fucking depressed during the holidays because I got my birthday in October. I lost my little brother in November. And I lost my wife in December. So these last 3 months are fucking tough for me. While everyone's being happy and let's celebrate and let's, go trick-or-treating and let's, make a turkey and pumpkin pie and open presents, decorate a tree and all that shit, I am just fucking miserable. And I think the reason I don't like my birthday now that I'm older is because, look, dude, I'm an adult. I buy my presents all year long on Amazon. I don't need to wait for my birthday. It's like, I get my own shit. I buy my own presents. And then with a birthday, I always end up having to do the planning and the working and the decorating, and I just don't want to fucking do it anymore. So I was like, I'm fucking done. If y'all want to do something and put some shit up, I appreciate it. It's up to you, but I'm not throwing my own fucking part. Fuck this shit. I'm done. But that's the thing, man. I don't have a partner anymore to help with that. So, My mother-in-law's sweet. She's always just like, oh, we'll make some cake and stuff for you, And I send her my Amazon wish list, but I always make sure that the list just has, cheap shit. So she's not breaking the bank or anything. Because, for Father's Day, she got me, a new Xbox system. So I was like, fucking shit, what the hell, girl? This is a lot of money. It was very sweet. But back to my love life there. I think one of the reasons I have problems is that I get my hopes up. I start thinking. And the thinking gets my hopes up, and, then reality sets in, and that doesn't meet the expectation or hope that I had. Because, when I'm talking with someone, having a connection, I'm hoping that maybe we might be able to start dating. But when that doesn't happen, it's like, okay, all right. I'm in the friend zone. That's cool. But you start, after a while, you're just like, is it me? Is it the women I'm choosing and picking? What the fuck am I doing wrong here, man? And finally, I just said, you know what? I just got to stop thinking. I got to stop putting my hopes up and wrapping all this shit around it. I just got to let it go and just be like, no, don't expect anything from anyone, so you won't be disappointed. You got to quit thinking. I got to quit thinking, man. I got to learn to ride the fucking wave. And it's very funny that we're on this particular topic, because if you turn to your Abide Guide, page 196, I believe it is. Yeah, it's in the chapter the 12-step program for personal dudevolution. If you go to page 196 and look at number 10, it's stop making illiteral connections. So I'm going to read this here from you here. This is straight out the Abide Guide. The dude minds his mind, man. That's because we are not our minds. Minds can be real worthy fucking adversaries, always making us feel bad or confused or down in the dumps. or they can trick us into thinking everything has something to do with Vietnam. Adopt a cool, rational, and detached attitude about everything can help us appreciate life instead of being frightened of it. Oh, hey, nice marmot. So yeah, it's like I started like being like, yeah, I've got to mind my mind. I got to stop stressing myself out. Or as the dude says, you can't worry about that shit, man. Life goes on. You know? World don't stop for you, buddy. Mm-mm. No, sir, no. So, as I'm thinking this and trying to get out of my head and trying to get how I do this, so I came across a book, and it's called Don't Believe Everything You Think. It's by Joseph Wynn. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but he wrote this book, and it had a few tips in it about, and so I went ahead and was like, you know what, I think, let me check this out. Let me take a look at this book. And it's not a very big one. It's like 100 pages or something. So, sat down and just read this motherfucker. So, as you can imagine, he's like, you need to stop thinking, okay? Because joy is a natural state, which feels like heaven, okay? Like, for instance, let's say your happiest memory, right? So that's a natural state. That's feeling. You got to think more, kind of act more with your feelings than with your thoughts. You know what I mean? Got to stop overthinking. Anger, pain, and misery, man, that's all hell, right? And we can create any of those, okay, in our own head. And most pain comes from overthinking, all right? And this, like I said, happens to me. So you got to stop. You got to settle. Then you got to move forward. And then let your thoughts kind of rest, all right? You got to remember, you got to enjoy the here and now. Minimize the thinking, okay? All right? Because you have to understand that anxiety is like thought without control, okay? That's what anxiety is. You're thinking of all the whole... Because that's my problem. Like, before I went on stage, I had this, like, anxiety attack. That's because my mind is going crazy. I'm not controlling my mind. I'm not minding my mind. I'm letting it take over instead of me take over. And no, look, I know my lines. I know my material. I know my fucking jokes. Just get out there and do them, dude. That's it. You know what I mean? Because we do our best work when we are just doing and not thinking. You know, when we're in that zone, when you get in the zone. And that's what happens to me on stage. It takes me a second, but I get in the zone. Like my first few jokes, I was just talking too fast. I had to slow it down. I finally slowed it down, but at first, because I was nervous, I was overthinking, letting that anxiety kick in, man. But once I got there in the zone, I was okay. Once I allowed myself to just ride the wave and feel the crowd and let it flow, it was all good. It was all good, you know. But that's what's the tough thing about comedy. They're like, you got 5 minutes. So you're like, well, fuck, I got to do as much as I can in 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes doesn't feel like a lot of time. And then you get on stage and it feels like fucking forever. So I paced out my act and practiced. I even bought a mic stand and a fucking mic to practice at home when being on stage, you know, so I could really get into it. But I kept overthinking the whole fucking thing. Like, I'm talking too fast, and what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I mix up the punch, or blah, 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 you know, just that type of shit. And if I had just, like, calmed the fuck down, took a fucking breath, and just allowed myself to relax, I wouldn't have had to, you know, go all into that. So when you get in that zone is when you start to have like goals, you know. But your goals, they tend to fall into two categories. It's like your inspiration goals, you're inspired, you're calling, the artist divine, the true nature, or it's the desperation goal, which is like, I need to make $1 billion this year or some shit. Like something that's typically, it's supposed to be like logical. This is the more logical tack to go. You know, so you have that. You need to understand the difference in those two. You got to be able to spot those two and realize it's like, and I understand it's like, hey, look, you know, we all can't go out and become artists and make money off of our fucking art. It's hard out there for folks. So what I've been trying to do is go on that inspired track, man. Just flow. Just let it flow and go with that flow. Let that goal be in, because it's like I said, with the stand-up comedy thing, that's one of my inspired goals. It's not financially logical right now for me, you to be a stand-up comedian because I don't know when I'm going to start getting paid. Usually you start working for free until you can actually get some fucking money in there. But this is a thing that's pretty much been a calling. I've been told to be a stand-up comedian my whole fucking life, so I'm just finally answering that call. And as some of the other, like I said, some of the students in class and some other people have told me, you're a natural at this. You act like a pro. So, yeah, this is probably where you're supposed to be. Now, when you go down with that inspiration, the inspired action there, you begin to start to do what's known as unconditional creation, okay? It's creating without conditions or reason, okay? You're following the positive flow, you're listening to your intuition, and you're just doing it. Want to repaint the bathroom? Repaint the fucking bathroom, man. Fuck, I'm doing it. I'm remodeling the whole son of a bitch, man. I found black mold in my walls, and I had to fix all this shit, even load-bearing fucking studs and everything, man. Pipes, electrical wire. I've done all this shit, motherfucker. I have done it, and I'm still doing it right now, unfortunately. But, I've been pacing myself because a lot of other shit comes up, Ugh. But I just noticed, like, for instance, in the example in me with comedy, I can't stop writing jokes. I write jokes every fucking day, even though I'm not meaning to. Some stuff happens where I can write something funny. I can make something funny out of it. Even if it's like, some asshole and bad driving or, some kooky shit that happened at the store, that kind of stuff. I'm always kind of making jokes at things because it's just in my nature to do. It's how my family dealt with pain, we used comedy. Believe it or not, it works. I mean, not for everything, but, it helps. Yeah. And the way that maybe you could use this, let's say you're not the artistic type and whatnot. You ever been stuck on a problem? This happens to everybody. So there's a lot of different methods that people recommend for being stuck on a problem. But the most universal method that I found, I mean, you can change the wording, but they're like, go do something fun. And then an answer will come to you. Go do something else. And some kind of answer will come. And that always works. Like if I have this joke and it's just not working and I'm trying to make it work and I'm forcing it and I don't know what to do, I'll go do something else. I'll go watch a funny show or I'll go do something fun, go bowling or some shit, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure out an answer there, or you watch YouTube videos and shit, that kind of thing. But so in this path or in this way of trying to like stop thinking, you know what I mean? To just go with the flow, man. Ride the wave, right? So there's 3 things that homeboy Joseph over here recommends to help. He said, so try these 3. The first thing you need to do is identify the negative feeling, all right? So for me, the negative feeling in my example is going on stage and being terrible, bombing, right? Now, bombing is going to happen because it just fucking does. There's no even real reason why, but just sometimes the audience, the crowd, I don't know what it is, but sometimes it just doesn't work. It doesn't flow. You don't get the laughs. It fucking happens, man. It happens. Okay. So I had to identify that negative feeling of the whole anxiety trip and failing and everything else. Okay. So identify the anxiety there, the nervousness. Second thing you do is become peaceful and have faith in your intuition, okay? Which is, in my case, sit the fuck down, take a fucking breath, and just go over your act again and again and again until you go on stage. Anyone who's like, you ever see these actors that are really, really good? Well, it's probably because they read the script 100 times. Or they're just really good at improv and rewriting shit. Robin Williams was notorious on that. But you have to become peaceful. Relax, take a fucking breath, have a smoke, have a drink, just chill the fuck out. Have faith in yourself, okay? And I had practiced a lot and done a lot, and everyone was looking at me like, dude, you're going to be like one of the, better folks in the class. So it's like, we're looking at you, motherfucker. It's like, get up there and be good, goddammit. Because no one wants to go on after a guy who was terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, it sets the bar low, so hey, you could be the funniest fucker there, but it's also just tough to watch, and you feel bad for him. You know what I mean? So you identify the negative feeling, You become peaceful, have faith in your intuition, stop thinking, And the third thing that you do is you magnify that peace, the joy, the love, the feelings. You magnify all that. So in my case, with being nervous before going on stage, my thing is like, think about the jokes, why they're funny, why they make you laugh, and why they will make the audience laugh. And then just think about, it's all going to be over in 5 minutes. I mean, or in my case, less than 6. But it's all going to be over. It's not going to be up there forever. So don't kill yourself on this, all right? Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace, my friend. And with that, I totally agree, dude. Totally. I had a drink there. Dad is thirsty. And then while I'm, meditating on this, I always subscribe to these religious, philosophical, spiritual type channels and shit on social media, and sometimes I come across something that just kind of hits me, man. And I got this one. This one hit me. Because sometimes we let other folks kind of destroy our peace. Sometimes those folks cause a lot of problems. And this happens, man. So, but I heard this little thing, this little speech here. I want to share this with you real quick. Check this out, okay? Awakened one, remember. Your energy is sacred. Not everyone is meant to share in it, for energy, like water, must flow where it is received with gratitude. Many will seek to drink from your light, but few will know how to honor its source. So protect your vibration as you would a flame in the wind. Give your presence only to those who care for the unfolding of your spirit, not its consumption, because you are a rare expression of the universe, a unique note in its symphony. Trust the movement of life. It is leading you far beyond the familiar. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is polishing. You are being shaped into something luminous, a reflection of the universe, learning to see itself through you. Cool, dude. Right on. So yeah, man, it's you got to remember this on your piece and your stuff, and that's always a big thing here. You look at any of the holy books, man. There's this whole thing on being patient. I wrote did a whole episode on it. You can go back and check it out. But we got to start with us, protecting us. Stop thinking, ride the wave, go with your intuition, listen to your fucking gut for once. And believe it or not, it's probably going to lead you exactly where you need to be. It might be kind of crazy, like I say, I feel like there's, with comedy, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm nervous, and it's kind of scary, but I'm like, you know what? Just go out there, have fun, because the thing is that if you want to get a gig, you have to go to the open mics, because usually someone is going to see you, and they're going to want you to come and perform, and probably even get paid and open for someone. So while we're in this whole thing about not thinking and stop thinking, man, and just ride the wave and be you, man, be your best you. Let's think about that. Let's take 5 minutes now so we can kind of meditate on this, think about it, and see how you might be able to apply what I've talked about here into your life, okay? So let's go ahead and we'll take that 5 minutes right now. And we're back. Well, I hope you use those 5 minutes to help quiet your mind, to get more into your intuition, more into your feeling, get into that positive vibe, and do what it is that you need to do for you, man. And while you go out there in this crazy world, I hope you take it easy. Because when you take it easy, the dude abides. I'm Reverend Philip, and that's the time. Thanks for joining, man. Hope to see you next time.